play history. He was 6'2", 245, not fast enough, and didn't get drafted. We signed him, and he played 15 years in the National Football League, or 13 years, and did the same thing. Tracy Eaton, I remember Tracy Eaton was a safety at Portland State, and we watched him on film. We couldn't believe how he played, and he was listed as a free agent. And so he said, Jim, go out there and time him and make sure he runs under 4.7. And so, of course, we went out there and he ran 4.83 or something, but I came back and said he ran 4.7. And so we signed him as a free agent, and he played 9 or 10 years. Jeff Donaldson, I think, was the same way. We had another linebacker, Eugene Seals, that was 5'9", 245 pounds from Lamarck, and not drafted, not anything. We signed him in the strike, and we had him in camp, and we brought him back in the strike, and he played 5, 6, 8 years. So this kid, when I saw him, I MVP both sides of the ball, and then I watched the tape, I said, okay, this guy's going to make it, and he'll make it and be a productive player for us.
Is he a January guy?
We're not sure yet. We're going to see how some of these guys with the injuries after we talk to the guys with the knees, and but we have talked to him about that, but told him that there is a possibility he will come in. As I do with all the 5 or 6 guys, they know that they may come in, they may not, and they understand that. Stephen Kaiser probably is the best quarterback that Dan and I have looked at on film in the 10 years we've been back in college. When we looked at his junior tape and realized nobody had offered him out of high school, I mean, we couldn't believe it. I mean, we just couldn't believe it. And so we offered him, and of course, if I had looked at that tape in the NFL when I was in the NFL, I would have taken the kid in the first round. I mean, he can throw, and he's accurate. And I don't see this doesn't look like his final numbers on here, but I'm sure Brad probably has them. But I want to say that it was something in the 30s and 4 picks or something. But I don't know. That may be right. I give Brad the benefit of the doubt. But I do know this: he's very, very accurate, and so we're excited about him. And as it went on, everybody went in there late to try to get on him. I mean, it's not listed here, but SC was in there yesterday, trying to talk him out of going, and Tennessee. When the reason SC did is because Tennessee did after that change. So we just feel like he's a real exciting catch for us.
You offered Scroggins early, and then Schools kind of came in right after you got.
Yeah.
How often does that happen to you? Where you offer?
It happens a lot. It happens a lot, and in fact, I was of the mind, and you guys know how I feel about the internet, and that's why I don't like, telling who we're doing, because. But then it's not you guys anymore. It's somebody in LA doing it when we offer him, And so in the old days, when I first got into this, you offer that kid and you get him, because nobody else would spend the time to go in and look at some kid at some small school. But now, once you're offered, then now you're going to compete against everybody.
So you do like the internet, or you don't like the
internet?
internet?
Well, no, I've come to accept it.
Thanks, I think. Does he have the ability now? He says you guys are going to give him the chance to compete and everything. Realistically, does he have a chance to compete?
I would think so.
Spot?
Yeah, I would think so. Although, just like I told him, he asked me a question, which I told him. I said, I don't want you if you didn't ask that question. Am I going to get a chance to play if I'm the best one as a freshman? I said, yes, you are. I said, I owe it to the seniors to put the best player out there to give us the best chance to win. Kyle, say the same thing. I mean, Kyle's going to be the #1 guy. But JJ thinks he can be, and now Stephen Kaiser thinks he can be, and that's what you got to have. And you got to have 3 or 4 guys, and if they don't all think they can play, then you don't want them.
How much more involved in the quarterback position are you in recruiting compared to others?
I'm not. I would say Dan does the majority of it. Dan looks at probably 500 kids, and he'll say, okay, these 12. Let's look at these together, and then we'll look at those guys together and agree on, the ones. And so that's what happened with Kaiser after he had looked through the kids you're talking about in L.A. None of those kids had been offered at all. I think we offered this kid about the same time, I believe. Arthur Lundy. He's a real productive player too. On film, he's exciting and explosive. Gets off the ball. I mean, he plays in the 30-yard area like a football player. He wants the ball. He's hungry. You can tell he catches it in his hands. I mean, he's just he's a good football player. Real productive. They didn't have quite as good a year this year at his school, so his numbers weren't quite what probably he feels like they should have been. But I think this kid is just going to take a new step when he gets on what we're doing. Hill's production will be excellent. Uchenna, and I'm not even going to try to say the last name, Nawabuke, is when we watched Hightower last year, we offered this kid early. He's a hand-on-the-ground defensive end. We think he's Yuri Yenga. I mean, when I watch him, he looks like Yuri Yenga playing on the field. He was playing with his hand on the ground, and off the Hightower defense last year, they had like 6 D1 players, I think, something go to D1, and then they had already committed, the young kids had already committed 4 or 5 more. And this guy, after watching all the film, he made more plays than all those guys, and he didn't have an offer. And you know, we were again the first one to offer him. And this kid is going to be another Yuri Yenga, just an explosive, love the game football player. And I'm excited for he and his family to have the opportunity to come to SMU. Very disciplined kid, and the parents very supportive. Chris Parks is an NFL-looking corner. I mean, I think of all the corners we've signed in the last 3 years, this kid looks like an NFL corner. He's got long arms. He can run. He can play up in your face, and he can play off the ball. He's really conscientious, good student, and very productive player. And you can see the schools that have recruited him there, and there's a reason for it. He can play football. I think he has a chance to get on the field for us right away too.
When you see that kind of speed and size in a corner, and like you said, it's sort of what everybody's looking for, are you surprised he wasn't even more heavily recruited than he was? Or can you explain why he wasn't?
He was so strong about his commitment to us. I think that once that word gets out from the coaches, that, you know, they kind of, you know, they'll feel around. They say, well, what do you think? Well, you know, is he locked in there? If the coach gives any wavering about it, then everybody goes in there. But if he says, nah, he's going to SMU, then they, you know, kind of drop. But he's you know, like I said, he's a good-looking prospect.
Skip on one.
Did I skip him? I might have.